Backstage at AGT 2025, the lights are dim, and a soft buzz of excitement fills the air. The crowd beyond the curtain roars for the last act, but in this quiet corner, Micah Palace stands alone with a microphone in hand. His heart beats faster with every cheer from the audience. His palms are sweaty, his breath shallow, not because of fear, but because of the weight of what he's about to share. This moment isn't just an audition, it's a declaration. For years, Micah had been told he wasn't enough. Growing up between two cultures, he often felt lost in translation. When he tried speaking Spanish, his words stumbled, and people laughed. "You're a no Sabo kid," they'd tease. When he spoke English, he felt the judgment from others who said he'd forgotten where he came from. That phrase, "no Sabo," once felt like an insult, a label that cut deep into his identity. But tonight, on this massive stage, it had become his anthem. He remembers sitting in his small apartment months ago, guitar resting against his leg, staring at the ceiling, wondering if he should even try. The world felt too loud, too critical, too ready to tell him what he couldn't do. But somewhere deep inside, he heard a voice whisper, "Do it anyway." Every lyric he wrote came from that place, the struggle to belong, the desire to be heard, the hope to inspire even one person who felt invisible. The camera pans to Micah's face as he takes a deep breath. A producer gives him a reassuring nod, but the real strength comes from the memories flashing in his mind. His mom telling him to never be ashamed of who he is, his friends who believed in his music even when he didn't, and the countless nights he sang to no one but his reflection. The pain that once silenced him now fuels his purpose. As he walks toward the curtain, his footsteps echo through the hallway. Each step feels like a step away from fear and a step toward freedom. The stage lights are blinding, but he smiles, realizing that this is what growth feels like, uncomfortable, terrifying, but real. He hears his name announced. Next up, we have Micah Palace performing his original song, "No Sabo." The audience claps politely, not knowing they're about to witness something powerful. The camera lingers for a moment on his trembling hands as he grips the microphone, then pans up to his steady eyes. The host's voice fades, replaced by the low hum of anticipation. Micah closes his eyes and whispers to himself, "This one's for the kids who don't fit in, for the ones who feel like they don't belong anywhere." In that single breath before the first note, the world goes silent. All the self-doubt, the laughter, the fear, it all melts away. What's left is pure determination. Micah knows this is bigger than him. This is for every dreamer who has ever been told, "You can't." Tonight, he's here to prove that you can, and that your voice, no matter how uncertain it once was, deserves to be heard. The stage glows with brilliant light as Micah Palace steps forward, the crowd erupting into a wave of anticipation. The AGT logo flashes across the massive screen behind him, but Micah barely notices. All he can hear is the pounding of his heart and the faint hum of his guitar amp. The judges, Simon, Sophia, Howie, and Heidi, sit poised at their desk, their eyes fixed on him. He exhales slowly, gripping the microphone. "This song," he begins, his voice trembling but sincere, "is for anyone who's ever been told they're not enough, not American enough, not Latino enough, not perfect enough. I call it, No Sabo." The audience quiets instantly. There's something about his tone that commands attention. The guitar strum cuts through the silence, soft and soulful. Micah's voice rises, pure and emotional, telling his story through every word. The lyrics speak of growing up in two worlds, of being judged for not speaking one language perfectly, for never fitting the mold. But the melody isn't sad. It's powerful, defiant, alive. The chorus hits, and his voice soars. Greater than, "I'm not broken, I'm becoming. Every word I miss, I'm still learning. I'm more than what they say I can't be. I'm me." As he sings, the camera pans to the audience. People are leaning forward, hands over their hearts. A mother wipes away a tear. A young kid with brown skin and shy eyes whispers the words along with him, maybe recognizing a piece of himself in the song. Even Simon, often stoic, looks quietly moved. The bridge builds into a breathtaking crescendo. Micah closes his eyes, his voice trembling with raw honesty. "Greater than, you laughed when I stumbled. But I kept on speaking. You tried to shame me. But look, I'm still singing." The crowd begins clapping to the rhythm, their energy feeding his performance. By the final chorus, Micah's voice is full, confident, unstoppable. He belts the last line, "I'm proud to be the no Sabo in me," and the stage explodes with applause. The lights brighten, golden and warm, as the audience rises to their feet. Micah lowers his guitar and looks out into the sea of people, all standing, clapping, shouting his name. For a moment, he can't speak. He's overwhelmed, tears welling in his eyes. Sofia Vergara stands, smiling proudly, and says, "Micah, that was incredible. You took something that people used to insult and turned it into power. That's what art is supposed to do." Howie nods. "That wasn't just a song," he says. "That was a movement." The crowd cheers louder. Micah takes it in. The validation, the relief, the joy, but most importantly, the connection. He's no longer that kid who felt ashamed for not being fluent or perfect. He's the voice for everyone who's ever felt caught between worlds. As the lights fade and the applause echoes, he whispers under his breath, "We did it." It's not just a victory for him. It's hope for anyone watching, reminding them that the parts of us we once tried to hide might just be the most powerful thing we have. Backstage after the performance, the noise from the arena still echoes faintly through the walls, a symphony of applause, laughter, and cheers that seem to go on forever. Micah sits quietly on a folding chair, his guitar resting across his lap. His hands still tremble, but this time it's not from fear, it's from the rush of realization that he just did something that mattered. The door opens, and one of the stage crew steps in, smiling. "You crushed it out there," she says softly. He smiles back, the words barely sinking in. For the first time in a long time, he feels like he belongs exactly where he is. The camera pans in close. His face is calm but glowing with emotion. Behind him, the Technova USA logo fades in, signaling that what comes next isn't just about the performance, it's about the message. A narrator's voice enters, steady and full of conviction. Greater than, what Micah Palace did tonight was more than music. It was a reminder, a mirror for millions who grew up in between, who've ever been told they're too much of one thing or not enough of another. No Sabo isn't just a song, it's a story about owning who you are. It's about the courage to stand on the biggest stage in the world and say, "This is me, and I'm proud of it." Clips begin to roll. Reaction videos, fan comments flooding social media, people across the United States tagging #NoSabo and sharing what the song meant to them. A young woman in Texas posts, "I've always been scared to speak Spanish because I mess up, but tonight I realized I don't need to be perfect, just proud." A father from Chicago writes, "My son watched Micah and said, 'Dad, he's like me.' That's what representation does." The scene shifts to Micah standing outside the theater later that night, city lights glowing behind him. He looks up at the stars, breathing in the cool air, still hearing faint echoes of his song. A reporter asks him what he wants people to take away from his performance. Micah pauses, smiles, and says, "I just want people to know they're enough, just as they are. You don't have to change to fit someone's idea of who you should be. Your story, your struggle, your roots, that's your power." As he walks away, the camera follows him through the quiet streets, his guitar slung across his back. The narrator continues, "In every corner of America, there are voices waiting to be heard, voices that carry stories of identity, struggle, and pride. And sometimes, all it takes is one brave heart to step into the light and remind us that our differences make us stronger." The video fades to black with Micah's final words echoing softly, "Don't be afraid to take up space. Don't hide who you are. The world needs your voice." Text appears on screen. "Be proud of your story. Be bold in your truth. Be unstoppable." And finally, the closing line, "This is Technova USA, where talent meets transformation."